In today's meditation, I'm calling it Taking Your Hero Off the Shelf. This is an assault at the egoic sense that people we look up to, or people we look down on, are graven images of ranking. And if you've ever fantasized about going back in time and meeting your heroes, what we're going to do is expose the mundane and bring our heroes to where we are. Down in the valley, one of us. And that gives you a completely different look at life, a more horizontal one. And when the great equalizer comes into your vision, you'll realize there's really no one to look up to. So I hope you'll stick around as we take our heroes off the shelf. One of the ego's favorite tricks is overlooking the ordinary. And insisting that someone you look up to is of a different rank and file. And so we sterilize the person and give them power over us, like a tyrannical boss or an intimidating figure, or a god in the sky. And to think of Jesus as pissing on a bush while he was walking in Galilee would be an assault to the senses. To give you an image of Jesus lifting up his garment and squatting down and laying down a turd is not only funny, but true. The Jesus that most people talk about doesn't poop. Or to think that maybe Jesus got an erection when he kissed Peter, or a sexual arousal. Or to think of St. Paul writing a letter to the Corinthians and having some gas and ripping a fart. Now these things are funny, but they are very, very true. Or to think of Mother Teresa waking up on a cold morning in Calcutta, waiting in line for the toilet in her convent, and sitting on a cold toilet seat. These images bring us down to earth. But the mind refuses to go there. It's an assault to think that your hero is as ordinary and mundane as you are. And we often fantasize about going back in time and meeting people we really would love to meet. And on the top 10 is often Muhammad and Jesus and Buddha. And what's interesting about those things is that you would not be on their top 10 because they didn't see themselves as a top 10. That's what's interesting. One of my top persons would be to go meet J.S. Bach, and I'm sure that I would find him to be a rather boring person, a mundane, ordinary person. And after being starstruck for maybe 10 minutes, I would realize, okay, this guy is just like me, struggling to make ends meet, wrestling with his own faith, taking care of raising 20 kids. Yeah, that's right. Struggling to meet deadlines and that sort of thing. A real person. So the mind loves to take the reality out of reality. And so if you have a towering figure in your life, like a boss or a so-called superior, your mind is whitewashing the truth, which is your boss is just as dumb as you are. And the person you admire, the guru on the stage, the teacher up in front of the class, the CEO of the company, no matter how petulant and demanding they are just like you. Imagine how embarrassing Steve Jobs must have felt to be dying and have to be so vulnerable as to have a slow death when he was a tyrannical figure and is painted as being one of the world's most successful people, susceptible to death, wondering about life, being befuddled, confused, maybe even scared, sweating a little bit, farting, pissing, shitting. Now apply that same thing to Jesus, and you'd be beaten with a stick to think that Jesus was a sinner. See, that assaults the Christian mindset. And to think of Muhammad as being just a normal person. Salman Rushdie got assaulted for writing the Satanic Verses, which was an extension of Muhammad being a mere mortal. See, our heroes cannot be memorialized. They have to be mortal. Our heroes cannot be up there. They have to be brought down here. And what's interesting is that's what they thought of as themselves. They thought of themselves as mundane. Not in a pejorative way. Not in an insulting way. But this is what the mind does. The mind whitewashes reality. Carves a story around a figure, and voila, you have a history, you have a hero, a plastic figurine that doesn't poop. It doesn't sweat. It doesn't feel. It doesn't misunderstand. It does no wrong. It has a power over you. Now think about money as a graven image. What does money think of you? What does money do to you? Does money sit on the toilet? That is a symbol of what I'm talking about. The reality of money is that it is a symbol for energy, life, squirminess, confusion. Think of your heroes and put them not on a pedestal but on a toilet. Put them in a bed at night, tossing and turning, wondering about the future. Make them powerless. Make them choiceless. Make them totally accepting. Susceptible to disease. Vulnerable to heartache and despair. Up at night wondering if they've made the right choices. Scared to stand up in front of crowds. Scared shitless against what they think is opposing them. Wondering who they are. Stumbling through life. So your mind won't go there. Because the heroes, the superiors, the inferiors, those you admire, have you starstruck. To be starstruck is to create an image over anything that powers over you, overpowers you, or is beneath you. Nobody is beneath a bowel movement, an erection, a rash, cancer, confusion. Make your heroes real people. Imagine sitting down with a celebrity only to be bored to tears with how ordinary they are. And after your star-struck moment, and you've come down to earth, you may realize these people ain't much more than me, ain't much less than me. How could I say something like that about Jesus Christ? Because it's true. If he was fully human, as the church purports, then he's just like me. Just like you. A person. Realizing something. Realizing that we are all the hero that's not saving anything and the victim that doesn't need to be saved. So this is what it means to keep it real. Whenever you feel something has a power over you, remember, you've put it into a plastic figurine, put eyes on it, and it's basic paranoia. Nobody towers over you, nor do you tower over anybody. And the people who are heroes are the ones who said, folks, I'm not special. Don't turn me into something special because I've said I'm nothing special. And there you have it. Gandhi, Mother Teresa, Jesus, the Buddha, your heroes recognize I'm not all that. And by saying that, people made them all that. So let your mind go where it doesn't want to go. In the bathroom, in the bedroom, in the mind, in the heart. Where it's confusing, stinky, weird, mundane.